So there's not anything legal to talk about. So how are you?
I'm good. It's a slow news day.
Yeah, totally.
Slow news day.
Reading good text messages lately?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, how about that from Ginni Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, the Ginni Thomas drop yesterday was like, what? And again, where is Clarence Thomas? How is he doing? And I really want him to get so much better. I am feeling for him and his family.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all these text messages from her and Mark Meadows?
Does this change the narrative in any way?
I mean, it just shows that our nation is struggling. Mm-hmm. We are suffering, from an illness that involves a combination of propaganda, disinformation, lust for power at all costs, conspiracy theories, all sort of drenched in indecency. That seems to be where we are. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like we're in something of a nosedive. I think we can still pull up before impact. But yeah, let's talk about Ginni Thomas and Mark Meadows' crazy text exchanges. Yeah. Of course, shout out to Steph and her mom. We're sending her all of our love and our thoughts and our good karma, and I hope things turn out well. So, I was on with Joy Reid last night, and when we were talking about it, I said, I don't really say this casually or cavalierly, but what Justice Thomas did was deeply, deeply unethical, at a minimum. Mm-hmm. I mean, a sitting Supreme Court justice who decided to participate in a case that involved his wife's wrongdoing, not recusing himself, not removing himself, as every judge in the land knows he or she is supposed to do when they even have the appearance of conflict, not just an actual conflict. Actual conflict is the third rail of conflict law. And Thomas knows that, and he ignored it. And instead, he voted to hide from the J6 committee, and by extension from the American people, deeply damaging evidence of his wife's misconduct. And it wasn't just shoplifting. It was an attempt to overthrow our government in the presidency. And Justice Thomas voted to bury it to protect his wife. That's, again, I don't want to jump right to that's impeachment material.
Yeah.
But that's impeachment material if it is proven the way it appears to be based on the reporting. So, I mean, the legitimacy of the Supreme Court is lower than whale droppings.
It is. Yeah, it is. And to remind everybody, he was the lone justice to vote to hide that information. Yep. It was an 8-1 vote.
Also, that seems like just a dumb, unforced error on his part. He could have easily recused himself because his no vote was not going to make a difference in the world unless he really felt like he had to get that dissent out there.
And we know that the Supreme Court doesn't have to go by other federal judges with regard to recusal either, which I think should change.
There should be absolutely. Doesn't it feel like it's time for some sort of oversight, some sort of policing of the Supreme Court? When we say no man, no woman is above the law, that's untrue for any number of reasons, because Supreme Court justices are above the law.
They rule on the law. They're the ones that tell us what they've gotten so much power, so much more power, because Congress has power to regulate the Supreme Court, to make it bigger or smaller, and they haven't utilized that in forever.
But Congress can't institute rules to police misconduct of the Supreme Court short of impeachment.
Right.
So I think it's time for Justice Roberts to step up and take seriously the credibility of the court. And it could start by the Supreme Court putting some hard and fast rules and procedures in place to govern things like recusal and to govern things like justice misconduct.
I'm with you. Hail. If I knew how to run Stephanie's box, I would give you a woo, but it's very confusing over here.
Yeah.
Now, Meadows' attorney said that there's nothing about the text messages that present any legal issues. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Well, it depends on how you define legal issues.
That's true.
So those texts are what we prosecutors would call incriminating.
Right.
Because Ginni Thomas is using her position, her influence, her obvious contacts to one very important person to gain access to the president's chief of staff and urge him to, criminally overturn the election's results. I would call that legally significant.
So would I. Like I said, I hope that Clarence Thomas gets a whole lot better wherever he may be.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that he's just completely disappeared from all public view the very week that his wife gets implicated in something like this.
It's a good time to get sick.
It's a good time for him to retire for health reasons, perhaps.
Yeah.